नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धे भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् हरि ओम कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् Namaste. Can someone recollect what is it that we saw last? Again, I request all participants, those who can, please turn on your video feeds. Yes, please. Can someone recollect what we saw last? Anything, any point.
No sound. No sound, sir.
Jitralji is unable to hear me. Is everybody else you can hear? Okay,
No
Chitralji, I
sound,
think
sir.
your audio is not working, Maji. Mm,
No sound, sir.
Ji.
अच्छी तारीख का है दे उधर
All right. Can someone recollect what is it that we saw last? Yes. Anybody? We form the link and we move ahead. Yes. Anything?
Hariom,
Yes, Manisha ji. Welcome. Yes, please.
in the 8th chapter, we saw that Sri Krishna said, through practice of yoga, one who always remembers the divine resides in the divine's consciousness, that is Krishna's consciousness, that is through Nitya Smaran. And about the all the worlds of Brahma Loka downwards are liable to birth and rebirth. And we also studied about Brahma's night and day. One day and night of Brahma is equal to the Mahayuga for man.
Yeah.
And yeah, the how life manifests from Brahma's subtle body at the coming of the day, and at the night, at the cosmic nightfall, merges into the Supreme Brahma, who is the unmanifest. Uh, Then the highest goal, we also saw the highest goal, which is indestructible, unmanifest, is attained by knowing Krishna. And this is the highest consciousness which one may reach. And also Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam, the knowledge that can be attained through Shraddha and Bhakti. And Bhakti creates ground for receiving knowledge, which can burn ignorance. And also Krishna revealed the conditions of the yogi who are nearing death, how they attain, like if they do not want to attain rebirth, and what happens at Prayan Kala and the conditions of Punarjanma and Moksha.
Yes.
Then the Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha, how in Shukla Paksha one can attain moksha through the pathways of moksha can be attained in Uttarayan, that's the Shukla Paksha. And a yogi who's aware of both the paths will not be misled, and he can connect with the divine through the science of union, which is the yoga. And yes, who realizes this truth becomes free from the fear of doubt and transcends all the rewards and the deeds of merit, and which has been mentioned in the Vedas. So he transcends the Vedas, who realizes this truth. And
Yes.
he means Yog Yukta, which is by being connected with Krishna.
Okay, Manisha ji. Hari Om ji, thank you for the wonderful summary. So there are ways, there are pathways. There is the light pathway, there's the dark pathway, Krishna Paksha, Shukla Marga, Krishna Marga. One gives us, when the Krishna Marga will probably give a rebirth, and the Krishna and the Shukla Marga is going to take one ahead towards moksha. The yogi is aware of both paths, and the yogi does not really get so flustered by the prayana kala, because the yogi is always in communion with the divine. He gets the guidance, he is in connection with the divine. The consciousness in him takes him ahead. So he's not really bound by anything. So these deeds of merits that are told in the Vedas, the yajna, the dana, the tapa, all these things, these are required. Later on in the Gita also, we'll see these are required. It's not that these are not required at all. But the yogi, by virtue of his punya, by virtue of his tapas, by virtue of his intensity of aspiration and bhakti and shraddha, he is able to transcend these. What is the meaning of transcending these? In the sense, these deeds also, these recommendations which are there, they are also for same purpose only. They are for the purpose of becoming one. One with what? One with the Brahman, with the supreme consciousness. So either you go directly, you're connecting through these, also you're going to reach the same place. So this is the sadhana which takes us forward. Many times there is no contradiction actually. Many people have the feeling that Shastra speaks something. One side is the Shastra, another side is the another spiritual path. The mystic's path is different from the Shastri's path. All these are wrong. What we can say, distinctions of the mind. They actually confirm each other. What realization the great, what we can say, Veda Shastri is going to get, that same realization in Auliya will also get, another mystic will also get by the same consciousness only, because from there, these are just different routes reaching to one destination. Krishna goes on. We enter into what is now the ninth adhyaya. This is an interesting adhyaya. Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshamya na suyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajnatva moksha se shubhat. So this knowledge which will free. Knowledge is always having the property of freeing a person. Don't you agree? Anybody agrees to it? And if you agree, why is it that you feel this is the right statement? Knowledge liberating a person. Because this adhyaya is going to be about knowledge, and this adhyaya is called the Raja Vidya,
Because
king
acceptance
knowledge.
comes in us. We
Yes,
start
Jay?
we start accepting and surrendering in front of the divine. And so
We
the
start.
fears vanish away.
The fears vanish away, the insecurities vanish away, the fluctuations, the inner doubts, all of these, when the realization comes, it is like Shanti. Quiet comes, quietude comes, and then understanding comes, acceptance comes. Because some things we don't accept, but not accepting also does not change the fact, isn't it? That is the problem. We think, I don't accept it, I don't like this at all. So, what is the question? Nothing can happen. That thing will change some certain things in our bhuloka. It is unfortunate. We cannot. We don't have another route. Say, I want some dear friend, somebody I care about so much. I want that person to care about me, but that person doesn't care at all. What can I do? Call some tantric, teach, ask him, I'll give you this much, do this Vashikaran mantra for me, or do something else. No, isn't it? Or nowadays, people they are building robots. They are programming the robots to behave how they want. So, can we do that to people? No, we can't. We have to accept the realization. Accepting, fine, this person does not like me. So difficult to accept, but it has to be accepted. Same way, some things are not in my control. This Sharira itself is what limited, isn't it? My friend got a diagnosis of cancer. My classmate, we used to go together in the auto. So suddenly she got diagnosed with cancer. And not just ordinary. It was acute myeloid leukemia going into the very last stage. Horrible. You see, it was so difficult. She was just weeping and weeping and weeping. But her first step of fighting began with acceptance only. She had some dreams. She had aspirations. All of them now suddenly went aside. First thing is to survive. Fight to survive. That was the moment. And for 1 full year, she went through her entire chemotherapy. She lost her hair. Suddenly, she became fat because of the steroidal medications. And then again, she lost weight also. Then throughout her body, so many injections, so many things. But first step was acceptance. And in that acceptance, she started finding light. She started spreading light in the cancer ward, doctors and everybody. She said, let me make them happy. Let me look forward. And you will not believe, after 2 years, she got cancer free. Then she got into a job which she had lost. Then she had a very interesting movie type of marriage also. And yesterday she told me that she is now going to become a mother. And for that, she had actually frozen her eggs also. She had, because this was something which was not going to happen, and so many things were against it. But you see, if you look 7 years back, 8 years back, this looked like impossible. But now, see, entire story has changed. It's like a dream. She's living the dream. So, this first step was acceptance to come ahead. And Krishna is saying this, I am going to give you one knowledge. That knowledge will set you free. But again, there is a beautiful shloka in Gita. This phrase is there. Yah pashyati, saha pashyati. Meaning, who sees, sees. Means this knowledge is going to be revealed. But how many of us will understand will become free. But if we don't, this knowledge will be there only. Nothing is going to happen to the knowledge. Only our experience of it, our experience of life will change. If we utilize this knowledge in this chapter, this is considered to be one of the greatest of chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. Let us see why is it. Krishna says, Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyamya nasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajnatva moksha se shubhat. But Krishna spoke, now to you that knowledge will be revealed, the secret of secrets that was before always concealed, that science knowing which you shall released be, and from this world of sorrow you shall be set free. So Krishna is not going to give him some portal into another dimension or another world. But in this world, ihaiva, in this birth, in this world, he's going to share something which is going to make him free, is what Krishna is saying. This knowledge was always concealed. So who is this that is concealing knowledge? Anybody? Rig Veda also, it is about that only. The concealed knowledge, the concealed cows, they have to be released. So Western, translators who were not very well versed with Sanskrit said that our rishis were obsessed with cows. So their cows were stolen. Now this rishi is just wearing one set of robes, is not having, any other material attachment. Now this rishi is going to seek cows only and is going to call upon gods to fight for getting me those cows. And what is he going to do after the cows? Getting the cows. In the village, we have people. They go on hike, hike. They keep shouting after the cows. I don't think we can imagine our rishis, that to the Vedic rishis. Because in Veda, there was a hidden meaning or esoteric meaning. Go also meant light. These were the seekers of light. Unfortunately, those who were twisted, those who were ignorant, did not see the light. Instead, they only saw something else. They even equated the fight between light and dark, lightness, light and darkness. They equated that to a fight between light-skinned people and dark-skinned people. They even called it, this is the proof of Aryan Dravidian invasion theory. It is something like this. This is how the distortions take place. But knowledge is not hidden that way. Knowledge is in front of us only. Only because of our purva sanskaras, our attachments. Sometimes our friend is telling something very important and we are like not listening at all. We are daydreaming or thinking of something else. That does not mean that person did not tell us. It is just that we didn't listen. So something like that, this knowledge which was always in front of us, but it was hidden, is what Krishna is saying. Arjuna, I will give it to you. It is a science. Even Adhyatma Vidya is said to be the highest type of Vidya, greater than all other Vidyas also. Krishna goes on, he says, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitram, Idam Uttamam. Pratyakshavagavam dharmyam susukham kartum avyayam. This is the king knowledge, the secret highest, that which is resplendent, purest and best, the right and just knowledge that is verifiable of the laws of living that are spiritual and imperishable. Krishna says this is a knowledge, it is a just knowledge. This knowledge can be verified also. How can one verify the knowledge? Anybody? It's about the way of life, of the laws of living that are spiritual, they are imperishable. This knowledge is verifiable, is what Krishna is saying. Can someone tell me how can we verify?
Start applying in your life.
Absolutely, Anjuji. Absolutely, by experiencing it, by application, practical application. Experience when verified. Krishna says, Nana Buddhi Vedam, don't go try to convince somebody who does not want to hear. We try 100 times, isn't it? But it doesn't work. Then we finally understand कि चलो ठीक है, Krishna says something, it was logical only. No point in trying to tell something to somebody when that person does not want to hear. Gita also. How many of us have tried telling our friends and well-wishers, read the Gita, read the Gita. It's very good. It's very nice. How many of us have tried? I can raise my hand. Truly. Yes. Anybody else has tried? No. Okay, yeah. A few hands have gone up. Yes. How many of them have been successful? My friends didn't want at all until the time comes. Because the one is not receptive. It is something like that. And Krishna has clearly told in the Gita, somebody who wants to hear, you tell, not to somebody who does not want to hear. Otherwise, it will be falling on flat ears. Something like that. These are principles, these are spiritual principles that can be experienced. If we talk about Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajo Guna Samudbhava. So Rajas creates Kama, Rajas creates Krodha. There's another shloka, Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibhrama, smriti branshat buddhi nasham, buddhi nashat tarishyati. Meaning from anger starts the fall. If you just observe the moments of fall, your own or somebody else's, the origin, the ugam was anger. So in the anger, that person had desires, the desires were not fulfilled, that frustration made them forget their memory. Because their memory was forgotten, they started doing something stupid or saying something stupid, and they complicated the situation further and then fell. So this is a knowledge which is clear, which is there. But when you verify, then you can understand and experience. So see something here, Krishna says, it is important. He goes on further, he says, Ashraddha dhana purusha धर्मस्यास्य परन्तप अप्राप्य माम निवर्तन्ते मृत्यु संसार वर्तमनि. But those faithless souls, for me, who have no belief, they sink and return to the mortal realm of grief. O Arjuna, on my path of truth, they cannot tread or ascend. Dwelling on the mundane path, they only descend. Krishna is saying, but those who don't have any Shraddha, they cannot access this knowledge. Krishna is saying, without Shraddha, you cannot access it. They sink and return to the mortal realm of grief. O Arjuna, on my path of truth, they cannot ascend or tread. Dwelling on the mundane path, they only descend. So, what is this? Krishna has also changed his role. So far, he was very calm and peaceful, and now he's saying, you don't have Shraddha, you will suffer. Is this a curse? Krishna is saying, you did not listen to me, so you are going to be cursed. Like there are the Greek gods, they just send thunderbolts from the sky. Something like that. Krishna is also, no, you didn't listen to my Gita shloka. That means I'm going to now punish you. Has Krishna changed roles, or what is the logic here in this statement? That without Shraddha, you cannot experience it. Is it a curse? Is it a curse of Krishna on everybody? Because there are certain cults, there are certain religions. You don't read my book, you will go to hell. They are clear as that. They clearly say that. And everybody else,
Spirituality liberates us. It doesn't bind
spiritual,
us.
it doesn't bind us.
Yeah.
So, but Shraddha is necessary, isn't it? And
Yeah.
Krishna is talking about cause and effect. I think previously also we saw that. What happens to a person full of doubts? The person is going to be plagued by doubts. The person will not believe. At least believe in yourself, it is said. If you cannot believe in God, at least in yourself. But yourself is always smaller compared to God. So it's always logical to have greater Shraddha in your Aradhya or Devat. But some people cannot pull up that much courage to have Shraddha in the Devat. That time it is said like that. So it is as simple as that. It's like you touch fire, it will burn. When I was small, somebody had not told this to me. So I touched the fire, I burnt my hand. My sister had Shraddha in this action that it will burn. So she didn't practically have to experience it by putting her hand into the fire. It is something as simple as karma and what is karma bandhana, a cause and the effect. So this knowledge, Krishna says, without Shraddha, you will not be able to receive. Shraddha is required. Shraddha is required everywhere actually in the Adhyatmic Marga. It is also required in the Vedantic Marga. If you want to enter into the kingdom of Brahma Vidya also, the first thing is to have Shraddha. Shraddha Sthana should be atal. Shraddha Sthana should be firm. Shraddha Sthana should be dhruda. Only then you receive. Let us go on. Krishna says, मया ततमिदं सर्वं जगद अव्यक्तमूर्तिना मत्स्थानि सर्वभूतानि न चाहं तेष्वस्थितः. From I, the formless one, came into existence, the universe complete. The universe is my effable mystery, replete. Within my consciousness dwell all living beings, but my consciousness surfaces not in all things. So Krishna says, from I the formless, from the avyakta came the vyakta, from the akshara came the shara. So from the formless came into existence the formed existence. And he says, this is a mystery of the universe. It is something which is mysterious. It is already mysterious, isn't it? From generally form gives form, isn't it? If a boy comes to school and says, I am having no father and mother, I've just directly descended from the heavens, what will the teacher say? I'm going to take you to the office and let your parents come and talk directly to the principal. So something like that, we know this. This is logical. But there is this mystery of the Srishti that from the formless, the formed universe came into existence. Krishna says, within my consciousness dwell all living beings. Each and every one of us are thriving, living, dwelling. Dwelling in what? In the consciousness of the divine. We don't realize it. We don't even realize the pranavayu which is entering and going outside of us. Only when we sit for pranayam consciously, then we can understand, ki, yes, this is going in, this is going out. Otherwise, but we are alive because of that action, isn't it? And we are unconscious of the very action that is keeping us alive. Isn't that irony? That is why it is said, do pranayam, become, spend some time. Imagine if suddenly the pranavayu feels hurt, like we get hurt, no, when somebody doesn't call us. Imagine pranavayu says, no, enough, you cannot move, people are not listening to me. Now I'm not going to move. Our entire existence is over. So this is the mystery that Krishna is talking about. All of us are dwelling in the divine consciousness, and yet the divine consciousness does not surface in every living being. When we say Shivoham, when we sit for dhyana, we recognize it, isn't it? We go deep inside. But when our sibling says Shivoham, we say, yes, you, you are Shiva. How do I recognize it? I don't see any outer lakshana at all. Something like that, the outer lakshanas of the divine are not visible. Best example is like in a culture media, bacteria is cultivated. Colonies and colonies of bacteria grow in a culture media inside of a laboratory in some experiment. Are the bacteria conscious? Are they conscious of that culture media? No, they are living dwelling lives, entire colonies. Same way, our human beings also, all of us, we are living in so many colonies, apartments, cities, everywhere, and yet we are not conscious of the divine, or on the surface, this consciousness of the divine has not yet manifest. There is one of the mysteries, which even Krishna is finding it amusing, as he is telling Arjuna. Like an artist who does a beautiful picture, and after looking at the picture, his picture is very satisfied and says, "Wow, kya baat hai? Look at this." Who has painted it? Artist only has painted it, but he's enjoying that. So Krishna is smiling and just saying, "This is the mystery of the Srishti." न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम् भूतभृन्न च भूतस्थो ममात्मा bhutavavana. But all living being creatures exist not in me. This surrealness of my creation, don't you see? Arjuna is being invited to look at this surrealness of this creation. You see, everybody is born because of me. My consciousness is dwelling inside everybody. But look on the surface, it's not there. Sri Aurobindo also, he got Vasudeva experience in jail. There were the swindlers, there were the petty criminals also there. In him, them also he saw, but he used the word misused bodies too. I saw you. Means he saw Vasudeva in the bodies of these criminals, but these bodies are misused because the Vasudeva had not come to the surface. So this is a mystery. He's saying, look at how surreal it is. If you look at it from a different perspective, it really looks beautiful. It looks magical. What is this? God, the all-powerful, supreme divine, is now invisible. It appears as if he's not there only. So many people, you are not there, you don't exist, you are powerless, all of that they say, and still God doesn't get angry and you told I'm not there, now I'm going to punish you. No, he is playing his inert role. Some great plan is going on and he is participating in it. Krishna says, "It is I who support every mortal existence, for I am the constitution of every being's essence. Sutra, it is I. Sutre Manigana Iva, as Krishna said. So many beautiful pearls. Everybody is connected with one sutra. We call it the Krishna Sutra. It is Krishna who is the sutra. He connects everybody. यथाकाशस्थितो नित्यं वायुः सर्वत्र गोमहान् तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्स्थान्यात्पधारय. Just as the mighty winds that flow, pervading all of space, in all directions they blow, so too you can conceive of my existence as well. Wherever all living beings persist, there I dwell. So Krishna says, just like the Vayu. How does the Vayu flow? It flows in every single direction, pervading everywhere. So in all of space, it is I who am pervading, is what Krishna says. So too you can conceive of my existence as well. Wherever they are, the living exists, there I dwell. Wherever life is there my Chaitanya is there. Chaitanya you see anywhere, that is divine's only, is what Krishna is saying. सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकां कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ visrujamyaham. All things belonging to this creation of mine ultimately return and merge into my nature divine. A cyclic relapse of end and beginning they undergo. From me they come and I lose them and they go. So this is like, it's a very beautiful poetic cycle of creation and destruction. This also shows that ultimately everybody is going to merge back into that one consciousness. That means, so yogi, bhogi, rogi, everybody is ultimately going to go to that one place only because they have originated from that place. So it is something very similar. And the line where Krishna talks about it, it's actually like a parent, no, who feels sad because बच्चा boarding school गया या विदेश चला गया, has gone somewhere else. That feeling comes in. So see, these are my children. Look, looks like they have now gone away from me. Like that, he says, from me they come and I lose them when they go. But this is a beautiful circle of our life also. We are born, we were once upon a time emitting light, according to material science also, isn't it? We were once upon a time a part of a great star which was emitting light. So we were the light emitters. Then there was this, what we call the explosion of that star. That star broke into the sun. And the sun was emitting light. What did we do? We condensed, became different matter, became now we became part of the earth, and inside of the earth, so many changes took place, so many steps, and now what are we doing? We are receiving light. The same light which we were once emitting, we are now receiving. Why? Because we have lost Smriti. We have got Vismriti. And what are we? Where are we growing? Plants can also tell us directly. They grow sunwards, isn't it? Human beings also are going towards that only. Keep yourself away from the sun too long, your body will not be healthy at all. It is as simple as that. Krishna says they are going to ultimately, all are going to merge into that oneness, oneness of the divine. Prakritim swamavashtabhya visrajami punaha punaha bhutagramam mimam kritsnam avasham prakritir vasha. Descending into my own created nature, I configure multitudes of existences of many a stature. But under nature's control is every living object, and governed by its law is every subject. Krishna says, what happens into my own nature, into my own prakriti? I configure multitudes of existences, from the ant to the elephant to the blue whale to the Manushya. All of us have unconsciousness only, isn't it? We may say we don't have, where ours is little different. But can any human being put life back into an ant once it has gone out? Just a small, tiny ant. It's hardly anything, isn't it? So small. But inside of that also, prana has left, then nothing can be done. Because that is something interesting. That is something metaphysical. There is an Atman inside of that also. And once it is gone, cannot be restarted. Krishna says, but under nature's control is every living object, and governed by its law is every subject. All of us, we are governed, isn't it? Can we say, I'm not in control of Prakriti? We don't want to be in control of Prakriti. That is true, isn't it? We don't want to become completely trapped by Prakriti. We don't want Prakriti to dominate us at every time. Most of what happens when we have doshas of Prakriti, what happens? Kapha dosh, Vata dosh, Pitta dosh, disease. So we want to get free from that. But unless we become one with Prakriti, also we cannot get free from Prakriti. There's an interesting combination in Karma Bandhana, which every living being is bound by Prakriti only. Can anybody break Prakriti's rules? Yes or no?
We cannot.
Yes. Paranji says no. All right. But what do yogis do? What do rishis do? They appear to be bending the rules, isn't it? Maybe they are not breaking, but so many times we see them doing suprahuman things. Sometimes man also with strong aspiration is able to change
They
fate
get
also.
control. They get
Yeah.
control over. They
Yes,
get
yes.
control over.
Yes, that is possible. So there is a possibility. Means there's not predeterminism completely in nature. There is something called human free will. We will come across that later. 18th Adhyay, to be precise, exactly in that Adhyay, Krishna talks about it. The role of fate, the role of free will, how much is the freedom that human has. But overall, the rules and the game has been set by Prakriti, and we have to play. We either become the player or we become the played. So that is something we have to understand. Krishna goes on. न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय Udasina vadasinam asaktam teshu karmasu. I am the detached and indifferent overlord. Seated above all, I watch over my every word. In nature's grip I am not found, for by nature's works I cannot be found. So only the Purusha, the Supreme, or Krishna, the Divine Consciousness, who created Prakriti, knows how to escape from the trap of Prakriti. He cannot be bound by Prakriti, but otherwise Prakriti's rules for the entire Srishti, they are imposed. This duality is there. This is what they call the Purusha and Prakriti, Shiva and Shakti. This dance is at all the time at play between the two forces. One is what we call the creative spirit, another is the executive spirit. In an organization, what is more important or who is more important? The founder or the executive officer? Anybody?
Both have their roles.
Both have their own roles, isn't it? Both have no founder. What will the executive officer execute? Nothing to execute at all. And again, the founder is wanting to manifest himself, then the executive will have to express it. It is as simple as that. Shiva and Shakti, the same thing. Shakti felt that what is this? You are not, Shiva is not, you are not listening to me. Shiva, I am seeking you, and still, Shakti is only getting disappointed because Vairagya of Shiva is so strong. It appears that Shiva is not connected with her. Of course, this is a tale. It is not the exact, it is probably, it has a message. That's all we are looking at. So she goes around dancing around Shiva, but Shiva is in his trance. The trance of Shiva cannot be broken so easily. Finally, she bends down and she prays to Shiva. And because in that dance, what happens? The entire Srishti is filled with like thunder. Only this dance also of Shakti creates so many ripples everywhere, but not in Shiva's consciousness. And then finally, when she prays, she becomes desperate and bows to Shiva. Shiva says, "You and I are one. I am incomplete without you." Because she is not complete without the Shakti is incomplete without Shiva, and Shiva is unexpressed without Shakti. It is as simple as that. So this Prakriti is there, Prakriti is functioning, but Krishna cannot be bound by Prakriti's rules. He is the master of the rules. Mayadhyakshena Prakritihi suyate sa characharam hetu nanena kaunteya jagat vipari vartate. I am the presiding control over nature's creations. From my creative spirit arise the abundant manifestations. O Arjuna, in nature's cycle, everyone has to involve, for this is what causes the world to rotate and revolve. So each of us, all of us, have to engage in Prakriti. Prakriti's rules are there, we all have to abide by that because this Srishti also is revolving because of that only. Mayadhyakshena, I am the Adhyaksha, Krishna says. But this chara in the entire charachara is filled by the Prakriti's game. Krishna goes on, he says, Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam jananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Case within the human bodies are minds deluded about my eternal truth. I'll repeat again, there was a mistake in my statement. Case within the human bodies are minds illuded. About my eternal truth, they are deluded. My supreme nature, they do not apprehend. Its existence ethereal, they cannot comprehend. So those who are trapped, they are trapped in the what we call sthola, sharira. Can they understand the sukshma truth of life? It's not possible at all because the mind is trapped in it. Somebody who is just driven by outer factors, can this person understand inner aspects, finer aspects of life? It's not going to happen at all. You can't expect such a person who is only what we can say trapped in the dense material aspects of life to expect you cannot even expect such a person to appreciate some of the finer aspects. They will not even know what love is. They will not know any higher truth. All of this is lost because of what? Because of the attachment. If you give a pass to a person who is addicted to alcohol, free pass for next 50 days to one satsanga, what will that person say? He'll burn that ticket. He said, give me one bottle of alcohol. I will leave you away. I will leave you alone. Don't waste my life with 50 hours plus of some satsang. I don't care if it's free also. I will not waste 1 minute of my life in that. But that same person would rather reduce several hours of life just by consuming alcohol and spoiling his internal organs. Why is that? Because the truth has of the existence has not understood in this person. This person is drowning in what we call the lower consciousness of the indriyas. What is crude, what is profane. There only whatever is visible, that only I can see. But higher truths, many times in life also we sometimes run after certain things which are not required also. Because that time the attachment is so strong. And afterwards we realize maybe this was a wrong journey. But if you realize it also, it's enough. If you don't realize it, that is the greater problem. But if you realize it, you can anytime course correct. That is the beauty of life. And Krishna says, because they are trapped, they cannot understand this subtle truth. Actually, truth is very simple and clear, out in the open. What they say, open secret, isn't it? Like that. This Guhya Satya is actually out in the open. But the problem is we have all got accustomed to secrets being hidden, no? So we don't want to see in the open. We should go into Himalayas, we should stand and do Shirsasan for nearly 5 hours, then go take bath in the glacier lake at under and without getting hypothermia, you have to get the realization. But the realization can be got in your own garden also, but that nobody wants to get it. It is as simple as that. Subtle truths of life, they are there, but people don't realize it because drishti is not there. Drishti is elsewhere. Krishna goes on. Moghasha, mogha karmana, mogha jnana vichetasaha, rakshasa, masurim chaiva, prakritim, mohinim shrita. These ignorant forms are crude and profane, as their hopes, knowledge, and actions are all vain. In banal and demonic natures, they thrive and dwell, and their will and intellect are lost under their spell. So, this is what happens, Krishna is saying. In this moha, everything is trapped. Moghasha, mogha karmanu, mogha jnana vichetasa. The Chetana also. What will be the drunkard's aspiration of heaven? Unlimited supply of alcohol. Nothing more than that. Because that is where the mind will go. A very famous journalist, he actually drank and ruined his career. He had come on the TV also. He became later on a part of a movement and people who try to de-addict people who are trapped in this alcohol addiction. Because what happens is people don't realize their entire lives get ruined. This person went on, first he started drinking, went on air also drunk. Then the producer got angry, shouted, then finally got one more chance. That also he ruined. Then he was jobless. He had some money in the bank that he spent drinking to the point that he borrowed money from his maid to drink. Look at that. A famous journalist, good journalist, fallen so much that ultimately he went on the roads. He was lying down on the roads. Parents were also not wanting to be in touch with him at all. And something happened somewhere on the road. That was where he got a realization. But the day he got the realization, that day his life took full turn. I don't think we have to suffer to get a realization, isn't it? Do we have to suffer in life? No, we don't have to. We should become conscious of that. Otherwise, what happens? God tries to teach us so many things, but we don't listen at all. Then, until we get a big punch in the solar plexus, we double down, we fall, and then we start when it is not required. But Krishna says those who are trapped under the spell, spell can be anything. Not just addiction, addictive drugs. Addiction of any sort is addiction, isn't it? Ahankar is also a type of addiction only. Everything has to happen according to my anger is also an addiction. So many such what we call there are the Shad repos also, isn't it? Six enemies. Kama, Krodha, Mada, Moha, Matsar. All of these, what do? They make a person lost. Lost under the spell of we never realize what is truth. And then we do wrong things. The will is also lost. The buddhi also is lost. That is the problem. Mahatmanastu mam partha Daivim prakriti mashritaha bhajantya ananya manaso Nyatva bhutadim avyayam. But the high souls contemplate and meditate, for they are aware of my nature's eternal state. For with love they turn towards only me, as the imperishable creator of all men they see. So what happens to the bhaktas? They recognize the divine only as their source. They recognize the divine as their source of adoration also. Nowhere else to the divine only they surrender. That is, it is difficult, isn't it, to contemplate on the divine? Yes or not? Spirituality, walking on the spiritual path, is it easy or is it difficult?
Difficult.
It is difficult, isn't it? My friends, they are very clear. Only when I have spirit, I will walk on spiritual path. When it is only the only time they discuss is when they have a glass. That is where they want to have to discuss about spirituality. But otherwise, they're not because everyday life they feel it's not connected with their life. But actually, your entire life is driven by your psychology, your philosophy, your aspiration. These are all very important things. Spirituality asks you to recognize what is your true aspiration, introspect. Are you having a petty aspiration or are you having something higher? Low aim is a crime, it is said, isn't it? And Adhyatma gives you the highest aim of spirituality. That's why Krishna says these are the high souls. They have overcome. They have overcome the need for lust. Need means lust also takes control of a person, isn't it? It's very difficult to control. All these Shad have been conquered by such persons. Kama, Krodha, Mada, Moha, Matsar. And then what happens then? These Jitendras, what do? They focus on the divine. They seek the presence of the divine. And they are actually the kings and queens of this world. Those who have discovered, they have discovered the divine's presence. And these ones, Krishna says, they understand the eternal nature of the divine, the omniscience of the divine, and they turn with love towards the divine. Love is their driving factor. It drives them towards the divine. And they see everywhere, they see that divine only, the imperishable creator of this Bhuloka. Satatam kirtiyanto mam yadantashcha dridvrataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Adoring me with the greatest love and spiritual fervor, consecrated efforts they put in their every endeavor. In my surrender and worship, they kneel and bow, and a perfect union with me they seek to know. Krishna says this, what happens? Well, at all times, this is something, isn't it? What is love ultimately? Well, love is, if you look at a sentimental level, it is about what I get in return. But when you start rising beyond that, no, it's not about return at all, isn't it? It's about giving. And the highest love is understand, which is possible for human being is the divine love, directed towards the divine. And these souls have already found it. So they are in a state of ananda, they are in a state of trupti, and at all times they are having a great love directed towards the divine. Such a person, will that person be a material person? Anybody Can he do or she do any regular action like everybody? Corporate sector, this, it's a very different sector. If you want loyalty, I saw this t-shirt, I was very shocked. If you want loyalty, go hire a dog, it was written. I was so surprised. What does that mean? And many of my friends said, no, we don't stay in a company more than 3 years. Of course, now after marriage, they've changed their priorities. So they're staying. But otherwise, every 3, 4 years, they keep shifting. So these high principles, are they impractical in the corporate world? Can we involve Krishna in the corporate world also? That's my question. Yes,
Yes, we can.
Rajrupaji says yes. Would you like to share how? Yes, ma'am.
Um, See, the question is not with corporate or anything because the question is with ourselves and how we live our life. So if
Yeah.
we incorporate him in our life, then automatically, whether we are in corporate or anywhere else, he is also there.
So again, there is no world which is not devoid of Krishna, isn't it?
Yeah, but then we have to consciously call him and surrender to him, or
Yes,
have that
yes,
relation with him. Only then he will follow us in the corporate world also.
absolutely. Absolutely. You have to have the presence of the divine, divine's company. A participant during the COVID batches, one of them, it was Lakshmi Narayan ji from Atlanta. He felt Krishna will not be happy if he did not do justice to the file that came on his table. And so, not for his CEO, not for other members, it was for Krishna that he did the job. And we talk about Lokasangra, no? Lokasangra, you don't have to aspire. I want to help 100 people. I want to help 1,000 people so that Chitragupta will put a star next to my name afterwards. So after this birth, I will get special allocation in Swarga Loka. That's not how we look after Lokasangra. Instead, you surrender to the divine, focus your action. Who knows what action you are doing and what will be the consequence of that action? Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Smallest action can protect from greatest danger. Something like that. This person did one small action because he felt Krishna will not be happy. He sacrificed his time, weekend time, family time in doing a project which he felt was required for Krishna. And that ended up giving jobs to so many people during the COVID period. It was so essential, helped so many people. But what was it? It was again his love for for Krishna. This is something which we get the guidance. He felt that he said something very interesting. He said that he was praying that this is the bhakti of that person must be respected so much. He said, I did not want to miss the study of the Gita, so I was praying I don't get any meetings. And he said during that entire that batch was those batches were a little shorter, 22 days or something. But those 22 days he did not have any interruption. We all did namaskar only to sir. What shraddha you're having in Krishna. He says, no, it was just experience for him. So wherever we go, satatam at all times, we can call upon Krishna's presence. We can call upon and experience it is what Krishna is saying. These people have learned. There's an art of bowing to divine. There's a natamastak, isn't it? But that is difficult. Even to God we don't bow. We expect God to bow to us. Some of us are there. Yeah, I am so and so great. God, be grateful I have come to your temple today. It is not like that. Tongue becomes heavy, heavy to acknowledge our faults, heavy to sing a stuti of the divine. Sometimes people feel ashamed to even, say the name of the Lord. Why? It is their question, they have to answer. But those who have answered it, they don't really care. They're just focusing on the divine every time, everywhere. Krishna goes on, Jnana Yagnena Chapyanye Yajanto Mamupasate Ekatvena Pruthatvena Bahudha Vishwato Mukham. Through the sacrifice of knowledge, those who seek their knowledge as offerings in the Gnostic sacrifice they keep. They worship in all life forms my divine unity, and also in all they adore my vast multiplicity. So what happens to those participants of the Jnana Yajna? What do they offer as ahuti in the Jnana Yajna? All that they know, their knowledge, they sincerely offer it. What happens when you offer your knowledge? Do we become dumb? No, knowledge grows, isn't it? It is like that. In the ahuti you have poured, and that fire grows more. When you share things, when it's like, I think from school times we were taught this, isn't it? You share, teach your friend something you are also not very good at. Your friend also wants to learn. You know it little better, so share it. Tell your friend. Tell it 10 times. Tell it 20 times. What will happen then? Then you will only start learning. It is something like that. That's this the base will become stronger. It is as simple as that. So they offer their knowledge in sacrifice. And what do? They worship in all life forms my divine unity. The oneness as the knowledge increases. Sarvatra samadarshanaha. It is said, no? Oneness everywhere you begin to see. That way, all of us are different, isn't it? We're all wearing different colored clothes. We all are at different places. We are all having different. Some of us are in different time zones. We all have different age. We all different aspiration, ambition. But if we look quietly on a surface level, we are all souls trying to understand Krishna and understand the Gita, isn't it? So that is the oneness. That is the sutra. That is the samatva, which we can experience. And Krishna says, as the knowledge comes, descends into the individual, he is able to see or she is able to see that oneness, the multiplicity of the divine in different shapes and sizes and hues in every place. All things bright, beautiful, all creatures great and small, all things wise and wonderful. Who has created all of this? The divine only. So that realization comes in. And also in all, they adore my vast multiplicity. So this they see that, they see the oneness, and they see the distinction also, and they're able to experience the joy, the ananda of that. The divine only experience the greatest ananda. It's like so many different forms of bhakti. It's like getting to taste 100 different flavors of ice cream, something like that. The divine is able to experience oneness in this, what we call multitude of existences. So is the seeker of the knowledge who has ascended, who has gone to that state of consciousness. Aham kruturaham yajnaha swadhaham aham aushadham mantroham aham evajyam aham agnir aham hutam. I am the ritual action, the sacrifice that is performed. I am the food oblation, medicinal herb by which the sacrifice is formed. I am clarified butter, ghritam, and the incantation transcendental. For the sacrifice, I am the flame and the offering central. So Krishna says, if you look at the yajna, there are so many parts of the yajna, isn't it? There's an ahuti that is being poured. The central agni is there. There are the mantras chanted by the hotar. And there are four different types of priests also sitting in that yajna. Dr. Atulji wants to share something?
What is the meaning of the word Swada? Swada, no? Swada word.
Swadhaham. The fire, sir. I am the ritual action. Aham kratu. So first is the kratu. Kratu is the person who is doing the action. Aham yajna. Yajna is the what we call the entire ritual of yajna. Swadhaham. Swadha is what is poured inside. Then aham aushadam. Aushadha is what? These are the, along with the different herbs. We also, like, along with the plants, Samhita is there, no? Samhita is poured. Sometimes along with Samhita, we also pour some of the medicinal herbs. So those herbs also become a part of that fire. Mantroham. Then I am the mantra also. So ultimately, Krishna is saying, I am only that. If you remember, there was Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavir, Brahmagno, Brahmana Utam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhinam. Means everything is going into Brahma, isn't it? Previously, Brahmarpanam, Brahmavir, Brahmagno, Agni is also Brahma. Everything was Brahma, is what Krishna told to us previously in the some adhyas before. And now he says, Aham. What can we do? If one, like in algebra, we used to have no, or some theorem. This is postulate one. This is postulate two. If we were to, connect these two, what can we say? Krishna is the Brahman, isn't it?
Brahmasmi is said.
Yes. So that Brahmarpanam can also become Krishna Arpanam, Krishna where Krishna Agnam, Krishna Nahutam, Krishna Ivatena Gantavyam, Krishna Karma Samadhinam. That oneness is something which is important, is what Krishna is talking. That realization of this, and Krishna is clearly telling this to Arjuna, isn't it? Now, he is not hiding. He is saying, I am that. Aham Asmi. I am. Krishna is revealing his divine origin and divine existence to Arjuna. Pitahamasya jagato mata dhata pitamaha vedyam pavitram omkara raksama yajurevacha. For all, I am the true father and the mother. So I am the Pita, I am the Mata also. This is for the world. I am the Father Supreme and Perpetuator. I am Om, the first word and the purifying sound. I am the knowledge that in the three Vedas that can be found. So the same knowledge of the divine you can understand in the Vedas. Well, understand the divine, you will probably be able to understand Vedas also. Both are one. Krishna is talking about it. I am the father, I am the mother. Has anybody met an orphan in their life? Yes, you must have, isn't it? Have you ever asked, who's your father, who's your mother to the orphan? No. But I met somebody, he was very happily saying, my father and mother both are God only. And he set up, we can say, he set up a beautiful village for those with special needs. I mean, in this age, and creating a village is something impossible to think of, isn't it? But look at the willpower. Look at the willpower. Driven by what? Driven by divine only. So there is a father, there is a mother. For those who don't have, we feel bad sometimes unnecessarily, emotionally, sentimentally, we get attached, but we don't realize that there are people who are being raised by the divine consciousness. There is one party or an old lady in the village. She has no source of income. She lives all alone. She lives all alone. Her place is her. I know her because I used to I have to go annually, regularly to get some government approval in the panchayat office. Normally, they don't finish their job in one visit, so I keep going. So last 8, 9 years, I'm friends with her, and in the year, at least some 8 to 9 times, I meet her. But if you see, she's always smiling. She's hard of hearing. She's very old. She has. I mean, how can anybody live without a source of income, isn't it? It seems impossible, no? Today's age and day. Yet her life is going on. I remember I was very worried for her during the COVID period because I thought, what will happen to her? She used to, her food and all, she would depend on the people. She would wash the vessels of the people in the office and they would give her food in return. So that was how her different, if she would go collect sticks, heat the sticks, she would get her, even burn the sticks and heat water from the tap. That would be her water for taking bath. And her entire life is always very simple and frugal, but I was worried. Who is going to take care of her? Who is going to teach her social distancing? Who is going to tell her anything? And so I went to see her. I saw her. She was wearing a mask. Her mask was so loose that I could put my hand in between the mask and her nose. But she didn't have COVID. I got twice. Gita classes also went during the COVID. That was another funny situation. Both injections were taken, both even after that, and Gita classes also went on. But her, you see, who is taking care of her? Well, it is divine. She one day said, I fell down. You were not there. I fell down. Then they took me. Doctor put injection inside, and I became all right. I have never seen anybody becoming all right from a hand wound by an injection. She had got a crack or some kind of fracture, but slowly she became all right also. But I'm saying is there are people who are living in the world. We only get unnecessarily frustrated, confused. Oh no, there is no hope and everything because we are trapped in our lower emotions. If we have to just look upwards, look skywards, you will see the light. There are so many people who are in very difficult and desperate situations, but there they have understood. They have a mother, they have a father, they have a carer, they have somebody who is taking care of them. And that somebody is the divine only. Krishna says you can understand that divine by studying the Vedas, or conversely understanding the Vedas will allow you to understand the divine. Krishna goes on, Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshihi Nivasah Sharanam Suhrut Prabhavah Pralayah Sthanam Nidhanam Bijam Avyayam. I am the master, the journey, the goal, and the shelter, the witness, the refuge, the residence, and the well-wisher, the creation, the preservation, and destruction of everything. I am the seed and the eternal destination of every living thing. So Krishna says, I am there. Experience my presence. He is the master, the Raja, the Guru, whatever name we want to call. He is there as a supreme Adipati. He is the goal. He is also the goal, isn't it? Realize Krishna. Krishna's consciousness is realize you are free. You are in the state of Ananda only. Because that is why he's called Yogeshwara. He allows you to integrate Ananda into everything. So recognize that he is the goal. And who is the shelter in our difficult moments? Whom do we call upon? Again, him only, isn't it? In our difficult moments also, he is the shelter. I sometimes call him the culprit also for causing the difficult moments. But whatever it is, that is his way of functioning. That's not something in my control. He is also the witness. Sakshi. He's been watching our actions, watching what we are doing, watching what others are also doing. He is there. There's a sadhana also. It's called Sakshi Bhava. Has anybody heard of that? The sadhana in Sakshi Bhava? Yes. Like Stri Bhava is also one more sadhana. Men, women, both of them enter into this one particular, motherly affection, and suddenly they become feminine in their hearts. Like that, Sakshi is also one more. Sakshi is the witness. Witness at all times, becoming the witness. Watching the game, you suddenly even start seeing the forces at play between people. Your own people, who is Pandava, who is Kaurava, both are Krishna's instruments only for something higher. When you realize that, best example was if you see, there was this character in Mahabharata, isn't it? Barbaric. Anybody has heard of him? He has, what was his, he had that boon to watch everything, isn't it? But only through his head. He had to
Oh,
just,
right, his
yeah,
head gets cut. His head
yeah,
gets
yeah,
cut
yeah.
and gets placed on the hill or somewhere, and he was watching the entire war.
Yes, he watches the entire war. At the end of the war, he's asked who won. He said, who won? Who was fighting? Krishna was here, Krishna was there. I was saying Krishna get up, I was saying Krishna fall. I was saying everything. It was all Krishnamaya for him. He was already in that consciousness. So something like that, Krishna says, I am the Sakshi. I am also the refuge. I am also the residence. And I am also the well-wisher. Krishna is only our well-wisher. He is steering us. He is pushing us ahead. He is taking us, raising our consciousness. He is also the residence. This is something which is very difficult, isn't it? Krishna is in my residence? How is it possible? It doesn't look like that at all. He must be somewhere else. No, we are residing in him and he is residing in us. That is something we must understand. Krishna says he is the creation, the preservation, and also destruction of everything. He is the seed and also the eternal destination of everything. We'll stop here today. This is an interesting adhyay which talks about a truth which has to be understood more than memorized or intellectually understood. Sometimes you understand by the mind, but then there is something which is higher than mind, which is the buddhi, and that has to be realized. So this is to be understood. I am the seed, I am the destination, I am the Shelter. You know what would be very nice actually if anybody wants to share, you share. Otherwise, you don't share also is fine. But just write down if anybody has the habit of journaling your thoughts or writing a diary. Just all of these roles, that Krishna has had. Just try to identify when was Krishna Sakshi, when was Krishna the witness, when was he the shelter, when did you perceive him to be the master, taking care of certain things, when did you see him as a part of the journey. So these are all beautiful things to, if you're able to write all this very shloka itself, the 18th
Not here, sir.
Can you hear me? Anybody? I'm unable to see the screen is frozen. All right. Yes, I just got a sign that the internet is unstable. All right. So I think with this we stop. Yes, Vinitaji wants to add something, is it?
No, sir, the screen was frozen. Now we can hear.
Okay. All right, Ji. So yes, I was just saying if you have the habit or you want to just try as a challenge, and if anybody wants to share tomorrow, it will be lovely because for us it will be a chance of Shravan or Shruti to hear some of the nice experience of some bhaktas. But this is something to become conscious of the divine, and probably that is only the Raja Vidya, recognizing the divine. What happens then when you recognize the divine? That's all. You are free. You are free. You recognize the divine presence in your life. Jako rakhe saya mar sake na koe. Who is there? Who is going to come against you? When it is the divine who is with you. So that clarity comes. That clarity also gives you the strength to face the hurdles.
Um,
Is there anybody who is not having hurdles? Rajgopal, wants to add something? Yes,
yes,
ma'am.
actually, Shurbindo had said somewhere, I mean, I don't remember the exact words, but an eternal boy playing an eternal game in an eternal garden. So
An
that
eternal
makes
war?
an eternal boy playing an
Void?
eternal game in an
Ha.
eternal garden.
Ha.
So
Yes,
that's
yes, yes.
that's the basically the summarization of the entire creation and everything. That it's an eternal boy playing an eternal game in an eternal garden.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So once you realize it, I think that's the end of the game anyway.
Yes, yes, yes. Because I think all of us have challenges, isn't it? We may have
Yes.
economic, we may have emotional, we may have mental, we may have circumstantial, we may have physical, or sometimes we may have multiple, all of them coming together also.
So the funny thing is, we have challenges. When we face them, we call God. He comes and helps us. He pulls us out of it. And then again, we forget that, it's He who brought
Yeah,
us
yeah.
out. So it's
Yes,
really
yes.
like, a cyclical thing that keeps happening. And only when we fall in trouble, we call Him. If we could just do it all the time, probably troubles wouldn't
Yes.
have come our way.
Yes, yes. I have actually heard people, I don't need God right now. People have said that. I've actually heard this friend, no, no, don't talk about God now. I don't want God right now. No. So now this aspect, so all of us are having, we all have hurdles, but when we get the clarity of a divine presence, when we get the clarity, we get confidence, we get strength to face these hurdles. This has been shown since the ancient times, not just now. Are our hurdles only special that this we were only the most unique individual born in Kali Yuga only who has never got a hurdle like how we have got, and that is why we are most unique? No, I think even our hurdles are not that unique how much we make them out to be. They are a part of Prakriti, they are part of a game, they are a part of a challenge. So challenge should be accepted or should we surrender and yield to that challenge? So challenge has to be taken. And it was always taken by great ones, isn't it? That is how transformations took place: individual transformation, societal transformation, universal transformation. All of these happen when you connect. And the best way is to connect with the divine, because then you will have the strength. Ekla chalo re, Rabindranath Tagore. Why? Was he cranky? Everybody around him is not listening to me. So fine, I'm going.
Can't hear, sir.
Hari Om. Yeah, so I think Krishna is saying I should also become Sakshi right now, and the network is a little bad right now. So the aspect of recognizing the divine, if anybody can, we don't have any system of homework or anything, and in my life I have never been successful in if I have any time delegated a task of homework to anybody for any time, even in the village. So I'm not going to ask everybody to do it, but if anybody can do it, it would be a very nice thing. These are the points. We don't have to go deep into your personal aspect without that, because that becomes a lesson, and that shloka becomes very practical to all of us. So with this, I'll also try to remember and say something if I can also. So, all right, with this, let us conclude. Can somebody summarize something that we saw? After which I conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Yes, anybody? Any point? Can you say
So
something?
Krishna says that he is basically everything.
Yes,
He,
Rajupaji?
Krishna is saying that he is, like he says, I am the fire, the sacrificial fire, I am the ahuti in it, I am the prayer. So he is saying that he is all of it.
Okay. Yes, so that was one thing. Anybody would like to add to what Rajrupaji shared? Yes, otherwise we conclude with the Shanti Mantra then. All right then, fine. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tat Sat, Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Hari Om, Punarmilanam. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna. Hari
Namaste.
Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Any queries? Welcome, or I conclude the session.
Why is this called the Raja Vidya?
Raja Vidya means king knowledge, the highest knowledge, most exalted knowledge. Something is there in this which is considered to be most important. We have not yet seen it, isn't it? Fully. The chapter is not complete. Maybe at the end you can, it's a perception. It is not, it is up to us. We can call it Rani Vidya also. We can call it No Vidya also. If Vidya also, if we don't find anything. We have that freedom. But I think it is about Purusha and Prakriti, which is actually core of Rajavidya. Means that dance, the cosmic dance is taking place. That dance of forces takes place in our life also. And how the game, it's like somebody who is aware, they can actually move around, play with the forces also. They can play
Govern
with the
your life.
forces. Huh? Yes, it?
Govern the way you live, something
Yeah, they
like that.
govern the way you live and align your life with the divine consciousness. So the divine's will can manifest inside. So somewhere this adhyaya is talking about it, but that's a perception of everybody. Because each adhyaya is called something, but that is just a classification. That is not what we can say exclusive classification. When somebody says this adhyaya is only about karma yoga, but you look deeper, you will see karma yoga element, you will see bhakti yoga also, you will see jnana yoga also. So like that, each of these adhyayas have their, and it's very nice that the links are there in so many adhyayas with each other. It's up to us. Somebody had approached me to make mind maps of the adhyayas. I started and then I was like, oh my God, it is going to go pages and pages of mind maps. It will become like a full, what we can say, scribbling only, because so many connections. So finally, I did it for a chapter or two, I think, and then I withdrew from that. Because he found somebody else to do it for him, I think, but I couldn't continue. But it's like that. That is something very special. It is up to us to see it. Yeah, pashyati, sa pashyati. Yes, yes. All right. Sir. Hari Om. Namaste. Namaskar.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Swamiji. Namaste.